Good morning. It is. I don't like that sound behind it. Good morning. It is November the 30th, the very last day of November. I hear like a background sound, but I don't like it. But it's okay. We'll keep going. We'll keep moving. Um, Good morning to you. It is Wednesday, November the 30th, 7:30 in the morning. And like always, just constantly and consistently show in the spirit of gratitude for you just being here and being able to share this digital space, here with me. I to go live at 7:30. That means there's a lot of time and preparation that comes into it because if I'm going to be here and go live at 7:30, then there's an earlier time that I wake up. There's an earlier time that I leave. There is a time that I take to put out the content. So for anybody that shows up, I always show gratitude and say thank you and show my appreciation for you being here. So if you don't get no other appreciation throughout the day, just know that you're going to get it here at Consistency is Currency. Like I said, your morning podcast of choice. So again, good morning to you. I pray that your week has been a good week so far. If not, you have the ability to strengthen your week by changing how you see it, how you respond to it, and what you're going to do about it. That's what we're going to be talking about today. Like becoming rare is like, what are you going to do about it? Like to become rare, there's a mindset that comes with it. I mean, it's not something that you just you know instantly like do because there's a self-assessment that um, that takes place. Like there's a requirement or there is a way that you look at it or look at yourself or to look at something different that helps you with that process of what becoming rare is going to look like for you. Um, like always, for those that's listening in the podcast distribution, again, thank you. Whether you're listening to us on the Podbean, Google Podcast, Apple Podcast, um, Anchor, Spotify, what else? Amazon Music, all those iHeartRadio, all those distributions. However you listen to it, wherever you listen to it from. Again, like always, I say thank you, 1000%. So, I feel like I got a cough or something. I hate that, especially when you're trying to talk and like in between your words, it like sits there in your throat as if it's like, okay, you're gonna take your time now and to say it, or you're just gonna cough and get it out the way. So I had to get it out the way. So I had to mute the mic a little bit. Um, but yeah, we're talking about become rare. Become rare. That's the subject. And as you can see, the question that is proposed right there on the screen for those that are watching on YouTube and those that are watching in on Facebook Live, like, are you willing to become rare? Like that's a question that you really have to ask yourself if you definitely want to 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 take the who that you are and to put the who that you are in a different space, whether you're talking about a different mindset or to possibly physically put you in a whole different space. Like you have to really become rare and you have to really take yourself and put yourself in that moment and be like, today is the day that I'm going to change. Today is the day that I'm going to take action. Today is the day that I'm going to do something. Today is the day that I'm going to say something. Today is the day I'm going to apologize. Today is the day I'm going to do whatever it is. That's when you become rare because that's not what it is expected of you. Like you have to expect more for yourself. And then the outcome has no other response to you but to change. And that's where that becomes a lot more significant to your process of whatever it is healing or your process of thought or your process of becoming wealthy or your process of just being a better person. It takes that rarity. Blow this candle out. Probably that's why I feel like I'm about to die. Um, so yeah, let's go ahead and take this process of become rare. So I think like this week is really began like a series of becoming, like a become series. Like yesterday we talked about uh become unrecognizable, and that was a real good session yesterday about becoming unrecognizable. So I was like, oh, you know what? Let me go ahead and do something else because I think a becoming series it happened on its own. It was very organic, and I think it's also going to be beneficial for those who listen to it, as well. So what we're going to do real quick is I'm gonna go on Facebook and I'm gonna share this just to make sure that you know everybody's getting what they desire, especially in the morning, because a lot of times we're not putting ourselves in spaces, and because we're not putting ourselves in certain spaces, then the outcome is definitely um is not changing as well. So um yep, you ready? I don't know. You will be. If not, sure. All right. So one of the things that I want to share with you, which I'll dive into it, a whole lot more um, later on, especially with the process that I went through becoming certified, from the social media perspective. I had to become, rare. I had to do different things. I had to put myself in a different space um, in order for that process uh, to to really happen, for me, and really begin to guide me and to guide myself, you know, even in that moment. But you know what? Let's go ahead and jump. Let's go ahead and jump into it. All right. So become rare. So for those who may be new to the platform, you're going to get definition of words, and then upon definition of words, you're going to get several inversions. When I say inversions, it's either going to be white over red or red over white. And if I say white over red, that means pay attention to the words that are in white. If I say red over white, pay attention to the words that are in red. And you can also give your own way on how you see it, because this is an interactive platform. So um, this is something that you can also research yourself, like the definitions are rare, because I'm just giving you definitions and putting it into a much relatable context. So go ahead and get to it. All right. So rare, it says the definition of rare is unusual, unusually good, or remarkable. Unusually good or remarkable. And the word that I want you to pay attention to is white over red, which is remarkable, because you are remarkable. But a lot of times you may find yourself in situations to where you don't even see that word to be true. You're living in possible pain. You're living in sorrow. You're living in defeat, that you don't see that you're remarkable. You're seeing all of the things that is pressuring you or pressing you down or got you down and out, or the pain that you're in. But I want to tell you, becoming rare is you becoming remarkable, because you just have to see it for yourself in order for you to pull yourself out of the ditch that you may find yourself in. And again, I just want to tell you that you're remarkable. Like, the pain is not final. The pain is not something that is going to last forever. But when you look at yourself and you tell yourself, I'm going to become rare, you're telling yourself that you're going to become remarkable. After the healing begins, you become remarkable. After the process of thoughts change, you become remarkable. After the concept and the realities that you're dealing with, and you look at it for what it is, when you take that self-assessment and you're looking at the inner you and the person that you are and say, you know what, I may be hurting right now, but I don't have to hurt for long because I am a remarkable person. I'm a remarkable being myself. And then you begin the process of becoming rare. And the next definition that I want you to pay attention to is the seldom occurring or found uncommon. That's the second definition of rare. Seldom occurring or found uncommon. And the inversion that I want you to pay attention to is white over red, which is seldom occurring or uncommon. Because there's a time in your life and a time in a situation that you're going to have to do some uncommon things to get yourself away, far away from your fears, to get yourself away from situations and circumstances, to get yourself away from the trials and the tribulations. You're going to have to look at what are the uncommon things that I need to do to pull myself out of this hole. Because there are some things that you have found yourself to always do when you become afraid, or some things that you found yourself find that always happen, those seldom occurring things that always have taken place, but you're not going to become rare until you do something different. The outcome change when you when you begin to execute to uncommon things. Like, I'm no longer afraid because I can assess the situation a whole lot different, because I had to look at it for my responsibility in it. So therefore, before I respond, I may have to do the uncommon thing. You may feel like, oh, he gonna pop off today, or she's gonna pop off today. But what if you've done something uncommon? Like there was like, wow, that's rare. Right? That's rare, because I normally she would have went off, or normally he would have went off. But what if you did the uncommon thing? Like, what if you did the thing that seldomly occurs? Like you don't have to respond like that. Like, your content doesn't have to be delivered that way. Don't you know people will respond to you different even when you don't respond? Because the common thing that they were used to is you just getting bucked and going wild and saying some, some familiar words that they're used to you saying. But what if you become rare and you did the uncommon thing? What if you become rare and you did the thing that just totally shifts and sets the tone for whatever happens next? Because you did something uncommon, you become rare. The outcome becomes rare. The response becomes rare, because that thing that seldomly occurs, now you have extracted yourself out of that situation, because you've taken a self-assessment and you become the uncommon thing in the room. And the next definition that I want you to pay attention to is coming or occurring far apart in time, unusual, uncommon. And the inversion that I want you to pay attention to is red over white, which is coming or occurring far in time. Because when you become rare, it's going to take time. Like, you're it may take time for you not to respond to people a certain way that they're used to you doing. It may take time for you not to feel afraid when you do these things that normally will prevent you from being successful, because fear just totally takes over your body and you become paralyzed, because taking risk frightens you. But what if you become uncommon? Like, what if you begin to take risk and learn more about yourself that you're not afraid to do this anymore because you've tried it and you liked it. So become rare is coming or occurring far in time. Like it took time for me to no longer be afraid to go in places. Like for me, I really don't like being around a lot of people, but I know when it's time for me to be in a setting to where there's a lot of people around, I know I can execute. But then once I'm finished executing, I go I go back into my hole. I go back to where I'm not around a lot of people because sometimes I have to detox, and I know I have to detox. And a lot of times detoxing from people is me knowing that I got to go inside of that space where there's a large body of people, and then I have to extract myself out of it and then release myself to say, okay, all right, you did good. Now let's do a self-assessment. What did you do? What could have been different? What did you say? Like, how do you respond? Like, how did you work the room? Like all this stuff. But it took time for me to get to that point. Like majority of the time throughout the day, I'm really by myself. But I can do some uncommon things and show up in a group, but then I'm coming back into my space. And again, it took time. So it's going to take time for you to realize that it's okay to take risk. It's going to take time for you to realize to even say, I feel afraid when I do this. Or it's going to take time for you to understand that if this takes place, then my response does not have to look like this. The words that I use do not have to be this word. The places that I go do not have to be this place. Because people are used to you saying this certain thing. People are used to you going to this certain place. People are used to you doing these certain things. But when you become rare, you become unusually gifted, and people see it like, wow, I didn't know you was good at that. And you'd be like, shoot, neither did I. But I had to do the uncommon thing. And now you become successful at learning more about yourself because you're trying more things to do that you didn't allow yourself to try before. So we're going to take a deep dive real quick about this and about this process of becoming uncommon that is just going to touch. So let's go ahead and dig just a little bit in this deep dive. So I know I communicated about, the digital marketing certification that I've taken, and I finally passed it, but it took a different train of thought. Like I had to take a different approach. I had to put myself in a different headspace. Like I had to be uncommon. Like for me, it is uncommon for me to stay in one place because I always feel like I have to be doing something. So I had to become rare, and becoming rare for me is sitting in one place and making it happen. Like separating myself from what I would normally do and what I know that I need to do in order for me to make this certification make sense to me. I had to become convicted in order for that to take place. Like sitting in one place, sitting in one space, because a lot of times I find myself doing a lot of things for a lot of other people, but I begin to realize like, dude, you don't forget about you. Like you're important too. So I had to be uncommon to learn that it's not always about helping others. I mean, it's good about helping others, but it's not always about helping others. Like, can you help you? And like we spoke about this past day, today is your day to count on you. Today is your day to count on you to become rare. Because your past experience have really begun to fuel you to become unrecognizable. But I want you to also understand that after you have begun the process of letting the past go, that's when the growth begins. That's when the process of growth begins. When you look at what happened in your past and you grab that by the horns and you look it dead into the eyes and you say, you know what? I see you. I know what it looked like and I know what I felt like when I was in that moment. But now that I know what I don't want to do, where I don't want to go, what I don't want to say, who I don't want to be, that's when the growth begins, because you've taken that personal accountability and that personal self-assessment, and then you realize that, like, hey, like, my past really don't reflect on my possibilities, because it is possible for me to be happy. It is possible for me to build wealth. It is possible for me to communicate better. It is possible for me to bridle my tongue during times that I know that I probably shouldn't say anything. It is possible for me to listen, because your past is really merely just a reflection of your consciousness. It's a reflection of your thoughts. But what you do is what makes it different. Like, you want something new, but in order to want something new, you have to do something new. You have to be honest with your future you to tell your future you, if this is what you want, then you're going to have to do what needs to be done in order to make it happen. Are you doing just enough to get by? Are you doing just enough to stay busy? And are you doing what you need to do that is required of you to change? Because becoming rare is an investment. But I don't think a lot of times that we look at who we are is going to take a personal investment to make it better. Because the things that you're naturally invested in the natural life, like, you take more interest in. Like, you want to make it good, you want to make it work, you want to make it great. But have you really invested in you? Have you really taken the time to learn more about you, to learn more about how you think, to learn more about how you feel, to learn more about what emotions that you carry, what things happen when you say certain things, when you go certain places, or when you hang around certain people? You're going to have to be so interested in about you that you're going to have to become rare. It's not you being selfish, it's you being self-aware about who you are. So are you invested in making you great? Or are you more invested in having a conversation about what you want to do? Or having a conversation about who that you say that you are? Or you're talking so loud about yourself, but you're not listening to yourself at the same time? Like, becoming rare takes action. It takes work. It takes commitment. It takes courage. It takes effort. But but why are you trying to prove people wrong? That's the part where I really don't understand. Like, sometimes we try to prove people wrong, or we try to live past other people's expectation. But why don't you prove you right? Why don't you live up to your highest potential and become rare and desire much more for yourself, that you become not like yourself? What do you mean, not like yourself? You don't always have to uh, doubt yourself. You don't always have to sabotage your thoughts because you're afraid to take risk. But what if you actually empowered your thoughts to take the risk, to set a new tone for yourself, to set a new standard for yourself? Because becoming rare only needs to do one thing. It takes you to make that small decision. It takes you to make those small steps because, like we spoke about yesterday, are you capable of creating 1 degree of change? I mean, just look at it from this perspective. Like, if you want to do a complete 180, 180 really is comprised of 181 to 1% change. Like, you have room, you have so much room. You have 180 chances to change in order for you to take a complete 180-degree turn. Or if you want to go a whole 360, you have 360 opportunities to change. Or are you going to stay broken? Are you going to stay defeated? Because you don't have to. Because becoming rare could actually begin the process of your healing. And that could be where your change comes from. Of becoming rare and been honest enough about you becoming rare and stepping out on faith and making it work. So I definitely appreciate you for being here. And I want you to understand there's nothing wrong with becoming rare. Tap into your abilities, empower your potential, and take the first step in the direction of progress and become rare. All right, I appreciate y'all. Definitely, 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 definitely. Consistently is currency. It's Mr. R2 here at your morning podcast choice. Y'all be blessed. Peace.